So in that spirit, I have some wonderful readings to give you and then a song. This is a poem by Fred Lamotte, great poet, and it's called Election. Election, imagine that. What a night to read a poem called Election. So here it goes. I voted. I voted for the rainbow. I voted for the cry of a loon. I voted for my grandfather's bones that feed beetles now. I voted for a singing brook that sparkles under a North Dakota bean field. I voted for melting snow that returns to the wellspring of darkness, where the sky is born from the earth. I voted for demonic mushrooms in the loam and the old democracy of worms. I voted for the wordless treaty that cannot be broken by white men or brown, because it is made of star semen, thistle sap, hieroglyphs of the weevil in prairie oak. I voted for the local, the small, the brim that does not spill over, the abolition of waste, and the luxury of enough. I voted for the commonwealth of the ancient forest, a larva for every beak, a wing-tinted flower for every moth's disguise, a well-fed mammal's corpse for every colony of maggots. I voted for open borders between death and birth. I voted for more fallow time to cultivate wildflowers, more recess in schools to cultivate play, more leisure, tax-free, more space between days. I voted to increase the profit of evening silence and the price of a thrush song. I voted for 10 million stars in your next inhalation. Let's breathe those stars. Let's breathe right now. 10 million coming in. So I know that probably most of you voted either today or earlier. And I want to just read you something that Tara Brach wrote about voting that I found just very beautiful, if I can find it. I've got so many things on my screen. No, that's not it. Here we go. Okay, she says, for anyone who follows the news, Tara Brach, I'm sorry, is a Vipassana Buddhist teacher, very beloved, and does all kinds of engaged Buddhist kind of linking our inner lives, our inner healing to the outer connectedness of our world and the outer healing that we are about. She says, for anyone who follows the news, this political season is filled with the animosity of war. And yet it is possible for each of us to hold our participation as citizens in a different light. As Reverend Ralph Warnock said, we can consider our vote as a kind of prayer and our encouragement of others to vote in the same spirit. When I voted early, it felt like the most poignant and important vote of my lifetime. I brought my palms together after sealing the envelope and whispered a prayer. It was a prayer to protect our imperfect democracy, a prayer to protect the most vulnerable among us, a prayer to heal the divides, a prayer for our earth and all living beings. Far from being separate from spirituality, voting was a very real and direct expression of heart. Yeah. It's very helpful to me to have the spiritual and the very practical act of voting brought together so beautifully. So I want to tell you what I voted for, because it's not who I voted for. That's not what we're voting about. We're voting about our values. We're voting about what we care for. And let me just get the lyric up. I have most of my songs memorized, but when I'm under a little bit of pressure, I lose my words. So I'm just going to help myself out here a little bit. Okay. So how this works is I sing a line like this. I vote, oh no, sorry. I voted my hopes hopes, and you echo that very line. Let's just try that. I voted my hopes. Yeah, next one. I voted my truth. I voted my truth. Now, don't sing so quickly on this one. I voted for the women, the people of color, the workers and the youth. You say the workers and the youth. You got it? It's kind of, this is an old-fashioned way of putting a song together. You're going to pick it up because it's in your genetic, history as a human being with ancestors who sang in the fields, in the factories, in the churches and sanctuaries and synagogues, and so you got it in you. Then, I voted my faith, I voted my faith in me and you. We're not there yet, but never forget what the people can do, what the people can do. Okay, this is going to keep you on your toes, isn't it? Have fun. It's going to be great. And make plenty of mistakes. It's the beauty of being on screen. Nobody can hear you. Okay, I'm going to do that again. I voted my hopes. I voted my hopes. I voted my truth. I voted my truth. I voted with the women, the people of color, the workers and the youth. Workers and the youth. I voted my faith. I voted my faith. My faith in me and you. We're not there yet, but never forget what the people can do, what the people can do. I voted for the climate, I voted for the fate of the earth, the fate of the earth, for health and wellness for everyone, before and after birth, before and after birth. I voted for marriage for one and all, if you're the marrying kind. I voted for choice, I used my voice, the heart of my mind, the heart of my mind. And here's the chorus, which you'll all learn in a minute. I voted my hopes. How about you? Let's get together, see what the people can do. Sing that with me. I voted my hopes. I voted my hopes. How about you? Let's get together, see what the people can do. I voted my hopes. Didn't listen to fear. Listen to fear. We're all one planet, all one people. Gotta make it work here. Make it work here. I won't be a cynic. I won't be a cynic. Saying don't even bother. They're all the same. We're flipping the script. They're flipping their heads. We're changing the game. Yes, we are. Here we go. I voted my hopes. How about you? Let's get together, see what the people can do. We gotta do that one more time. I voted my hopes. How about you? Let's get together, see what the people can do. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I think we're gonna see what the people can do in so many ways. I get a lot of on alternative news. I don't actually listen or follow the mainstream news, but I get a lot of other sources, and the people's movements that are rising powerfully all over the globe is just very, very inspiring. We got to remember that Kenyan youth put a stop to some egregious activities that their president was doing with the world money. I'm losing all my words. The bank, the big IMA, is it? Whatever. That was just really impoverishing the country, and the youth just wouldn't have it, and they were out in the streets. And same in Bangladesh, youth were in the streets, and they actually deposed a dictator. We need to know this. We need to remember this is what the people can do. So, yeah. Okay, well, I now have the pleasure, and I hope they're in the house, of introducing our next group, which is a very, very beloved group from the West Coast. And if you East Coast folk don't know them, you're about to have a real treat. This is MaMuse, and I gotta pull up something here. Hi, MaMuse. Hello, gals.
Hi.
We're so glad you're here. Let me say a few things about you. So these women have inspired me for years. And it's Sarah Nutting and Carisha Longacre, and I see a third person with you.
This is our
Yes.
dear friend Lydia Violet.
Oh, Lydia, fantastic. So glad to meet you and see you.
Hi. Good to
Yay.
meet you.
And they describe themselves as a oh gosh, folk gospel tradition, a tune-up for the soul, and my goodness, their harmonies and their words are incredible. But the reason I really wanted you here tonight, MaMuses, is because you sing of the connection to the earth and the ongoingness of the earth cycles and our part in that in a way that I haven't heard anybody else quite do. And when I'm really stuck and in a hard place and feeling pretty discouraged, I often put on your music. I put on If I Could See It Through God's Eyes, or I put in the one about water that I can't quite remember the title. But you really are creating anthems for our time. And so without further Betsy yakking, please give us some of your wonderful music.
My daughters, I love you.
Hey,
We love you.
yeah, let's put the gallery.
Let's see. I want to see everyone.
Oh, it's so helpful to be here.
Yes.
It's so helpful to be here. Thank you so
Aw.
much for inviting us to come and join. And we got a couple of songs for singing along to. This first one is called How's About, and it says, How's about we work this thing together, all hearts in service of all learning. How's about we work this thing together? Can I count on you? You can count on me. And that's the whole song. So we'll sing it, and then you just sing along when you can catch it. How's about we work this thing together? All hearts in service of all learning. How's about we work this thing together? Can I count on you? You can count on me. Can I count on you? You can count on me. The whole song, Judy, how's about? How's about we work this thing together? All hearts in service. All hearts in service of all learning. How's about we work this thing together? Can I count on you? Can I count on you? You can count on me. Can I count on you? Can I count on you? You can count on me. How's about we work this thing together? All hearts in service of all learning. How's about we work this thing together? Can I count on you? You can count on me. Can I count on you? You can count on me. Let's sing it one more time and just kind of in the sweet as we can sweet it. It's kind of gentle sweet. How's about we work this thing together? All hearts in service of all learning. How's about we work this thing together? Can I count on you? You can count on me. Can I count on you? You can count on me. But one last, can I count on you? Can I count on you? You can count on me. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I'm just remembering those days when you never could hear, you never could be singing with another person in harmony, and what that was to like be in one box with three people.
Now we got three people in one box.
Yeah, the sweetness of that. Well, we're just going to spend our evening this evening in front of the fire and just bring as much grounding in, and much goodness in, and watching also all what everyone else is watching too, and with you in it.
And also probably I'm gonna freak out a little bit, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's also gonna happen, and it's okay. And then I'm gonna ground again because that's what's gonna happen.
I was saying earlier, it's like you're excitable. You're
I
gonna,
am.
you're gonna do it all. I'm gonna go for the roller coaster.
I go squirrel panther, squirrel panther, squirrel panther.
I got to jump in for a minute to say I'm so glad you said that, because really, I don't know if you heard my opening welcome to the circle, but like all pieces are welcome, right?
Yeah.
And, some people say, well, if I just had a strong enough practice or spiritual practice, I wouldn't be, I'd have all this equanimity. It's like, no, that's spiritual bypass, my friend. Don't do that, right? Feel it all.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I think some people, at least on the East Coast, may not know your music. Could you just say a little bit about how you found your way to writing the kind of music that you write together? It seems to access some pretty deep traditions and sources. I know it's a big question, but I'd love to hear just a little bit more about your how you found your way to this.
Like process-wise together or separately, or what? In which vein?
Oh, maybe together. Sometime I'll have you back. Just you all, and we'll talk more. But
The first thing that comes up is that when we met, we had both really solid foundations in our, call it devotion to the muse or just love for the music, and seemingly like a similar way of receiving songs. I mean, different in some ways. Like I always notice, like, wow, whenever Krisha lays down on the earth, like she'll wake up with the song. It's just like that, like flat on the earth. Like we call it lumping, just like from the ground up, just like literally comes through. And my process tends to be different. I don't know, but also rooted in earth connection and rooted in that deep connection to nature and the earth. And we've been playing together for 17 years, so we've been through many iterations of how we create together and how we co-create. Seems like recently we've been sitting on this, what we call magic carpet, which is this plastic mat that lives in between our homes, and we sit there and we start off just by going into the void, kind of a sounding practice, just making sounds together, sitting in silence, whatever wants to happen within a given container. And then we've been opening ourselves to jamming maybe on some instruments or just singing and seeing what comes out. And there's been a really beautiful synergy between us, like a creativity that feels new. It's a new era. It's like actually co-creating in real time, because in the past we would, I would write a song and I'd be like, hey, Karish, what would you play on this? And she'd be like, hey, I have a song. And but in recent times, it feels almost like telling of the times we're in is like coming together more to create and collaborate, and not just being our lone wolf selves in our little rooms, or like we have families now and we have fuller lives, and like when we were in our 20s, so there's a different process that's evolving, and I feel grateful for it actually.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Oh,
anything you can
thank
add to
you.
that?
And I feel like you hit lots of the places.
Yeah.
I could try to dig,
Yeah.
but why?
No, it's good. It's perfect. Thank you. It's really, I'm so glad you said what you said, because I feel like you're describing what we all need to be doing in our own way, which is improvising from the ground we're actually on, and letting stuff come through that we maybe didn't do it. It wasn't from our mind, it was from our gut and our body and the earth. And for me, I feel like this is a time where all bets are off. All old ways are like, meh. I have a song I'm doing a little bit that says the old paths, familiar paths are fading. The way is unknown. And yet, the way knows the way. There's a song that, we don't have to know the way knows the way.
Lindsay Scott.
Lindsay Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, I got to wrap this up.
say
You
one
got to
more
do another song.
Can I say one more thing just before?
Yeah.
It's kind of an intro to the song, but I also want to highlight the work that Lydia does, that it's like the yes and, because Lydia is steeped in the ancestral work that does like bring in the past and offers a course that's been going for many years now, Singing the Bones, and so powerful to feel like that. I feel like I'm edging up to that, like what would that be to really connect more to those ancestral voices? And I just feel like, Lydia, I see you doing that, and it's like I feel inspired by that. It feels like my next evolution, and I just want to highlight you in that work.
Oh, great. Thank you. Fantastic. Well, have you got one more for us?
We thought we'd sing "We Shall Be Known" because
I thought you might.
I like that one, and it's the one for these times. Like,
Yeah,
let's sing
it
that.
is. And we're going to put the
Song.
words in the chat so people can sing along.
Oh, great! This song came through, or started to come through, in a dream where my dear ones took me to my creative place, which was just this incredible light, and the beginning or the seed of this song was there. And so this is a gift from the other world to us here to get to it. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Ooh. Oh. Oh. I needed that. We needed that. Thank you. Thank you so much for all you bring and for bringing the great turning into the room. I'm going to be honored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
Joanna Macy devotee, so
Yes, I thought you were. I am also. I'm going to be honoring her later. She may come on later for a little bit, just as a guest, not as a speaker. And I'm gonna speak her Shambhala story because I think
oh,
it's
good.
very very helpful for us right now. But just thank you for lifting up that spirit that helps so much right now. Bless you for coming. Have a lovely night by the fire.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Betsy. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight.
Wow. Okay, let me take a breath here, and we're gonna make a, oh no. I now have the huge pleasure of bringing on one of my dearest friends that I hardly ever see and talk to. We all have those people. Long distance, we used to be, back on the East Coast collaborating together. Judith Black is a storyteller. She is a climate activist. She is, I met her when she was teaching a class on storytelling, and as a young performer just starting out, I wanted to enrich my skills, and she taught these wonderful, wonderful practices to help me become more of a person with more ways to tell a story. And we connected around about her having a young child and me wanting to have a young child. And eventually, along the way, we created a show together about one of the early Salem witches, Granny Mabs, I think it was, right?
Mammy
Oh,
Red.
Mammy, that's right, very red. Anyway, but she's brought storytelling to clergy and therapists, body workers, to help people find outlets for the stories that are in them. We just know how healing it is to have a story to tell and be able to tell it. Moth Radio, come on, how many of you listen to Moth Radio? Whew. Just people telling stories from their lives. So, Judith, I'm really thrilled that you're here tonight. And tonight, Judith is very graciously bringing something that is not a story, but I'm going to let her tell you what it is. And she and I are going to try to sing this together, which, on Zoom is really tricky, but we practiced. So, Judith, please welcome, and tell us what we're going to
Okay,
do.
so we shall be known by the company we keep. And if your friend is Betsy Rose, that is bloody good company.
Aw.
So thank you for mentioning Africa. A lot of us got arrested this summer as part of Summer of Heat, protesting the East African crude oil pipeline, the longest proposed pipeline in the world. And as you have already said, young people are being arrested in droves protesting it. And then the other arrest I did with them was when all of us elders came and we put pictures of our grandchildren on posters and said, "I'm here for," and we put our bodies in the doorways of Citibank because they fund fossil fuels. But before we went to get arrested, we're like grandparents. "Oh, look at your grandchildren. They're gorgeous. Oh, that one has the devil in her eyes." I mean, it was very sweet and powerful. So I'm going to share a nagun, which is it is the way the Hasidim pray. It is a song without words. But of course, if you're a storyteller, you put words to it. And it's going to be sung and echoed. And thank goodness we have a very responsible and experienced choral leader to help you with the echoes. Her name is Betsy Rose. So thank you. I'll just start and then you will echo with Betsy. The entire Sori song is like that. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die.
Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. We can all do this.
Once there was a rabbi, and he had 3 students.
Once there was a rabbi, and he had 3 students.
The rabbi looked at his students and asked them a question.
The rabbi looked at his students and asked them a question.
If you had but 1 hour left in your lifetime,
if you had but 1 hour left in your lifetime,
what would you do with that 1 hour?
What would you do with that 1 hour?
The first student looked at the rabbi and answered the question.
The first student looked at the rabbi and answered the question.
I'd spend that hour studying the Torah.
I'd spend that hour studying the Torah.
The second looked at the rabbi and answered the question.
The second looked at the rabbi and answered the question.
I'd spend that hour deep in prayer.
I'd spend that hour deep in prayer.
The third looked at the rabbi and answered the question.
The third looked at the rabbi and answered the question.
I'd spend that hour being with my family.
I'd spend that hour being with my family.
The rabbi looked at his students and gave them a great smile.
The rabbi looked at his students and gave them a great smile.
You have all given wise answers to the question.
You have all given wise answers to the question.
But the students looked at the rabbi and asked him a question.
But the students looked at the rabbi and asked him a question.
If you had but 1 hour left in your lifetime,
You had but 1 hour left in your lifetime.
what would you do with that 1 hour?
What would you do with that 1 hour?
The rabbi looked at his students and answered the question.
The rabbi looked at his students and answered the question.
I'd spend that hour doing what I was doing.
I'd spend that hour doing what I was doing.
Doing what I was doing, for all of life is sacred.
Doing what I was doing, for all of life is sacred.
Doing what I was doing, for all of life is sacred.
Doing what I was doing, for all of life is sacred.
Die, 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 die.
Die, 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 die.
Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die.
Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Judith, that brings in, it's a wisdom tradition that you're drawing on here. It's an ancient and beautiful wisdom tradition, thousands of years in the making. And, you know, one of the things we're honoring tonight by bringing in the Buddhist threads and the earth threads and the Jewish threads, and we're going to be bringing in other threads, is just remembering that, you know, humanity has always been about the business of finding the sacred and naming it in some way and relating to it in some way. And you can call it what you will. We're not talking religion right now. We're not talking any of that. It's just a way. It's like what the I think it's a Hopi phrase that says, all that we do now must be done in a sacred way and in celebration. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to just hold with us. And being civil disobedience and getting arrested can be a very sacred act. And as Tara Brach said, voting can be a very sacred act. So thank you for bringing that tradition, which you do so beautifully. And we'll get together again on screen later when you can do some storytelling. Thank you, Judith. Let's give her a big, whatever, give Judith some props here. Bye, sweetie. Thanks for coming. Yeah.